What is up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. So for today, we're going to be talking about something that I've been seeing all over my Twitter timeline. So we do have a discussion in terms of Twitch and their new rules for VTubers. Now, for those of you who are unaware, I do occasionally stream on Twitch. I'm not the most consistent with it as much as I wish I could be, just because of the fact that I do get a little anxious when it comes to, being live. But apart from that, it's also mostly because, sometimes I get busy. So I can't always go live, especially because, I have a dog. So my dog is always barking and I don't want it to, get picked up. So I try to stream whenever it's, time for the dog to be in bed. So usually around nighttime is when I'll try to stream. But there's always times when she'll start barking at night too, but try to get around it. But that's not the point of the video. That's not what we're here for. What we're here to talk about is something that's been all over my timeline. It is, in fact, there's a lot of discussion about the rules for VTubers. Now, people are saying, are these, hypocritical rules where it's one way for VTubers but different for flesh tubers? Now, in fact, these rules have always been on Twitch. The difference is, though, they have just recently started to get enforced a lot more, especially towards VTubers. But these rules have in fact always been in place, but the recent change that Twitch has made is they added more clarification to some of these rules to make it more easy for people to digest and understand what you can and can't do. Now, one of those things being you can't have, I believe, hips in your VTuber model shown because that can get you flagged for nudity and stuff like that, as well as things like drinking is a little risque because it can be considered self-harm, especially if you're doing it to a bad extent, like passing out drunk. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start reading these tweets. So, VTubers need to cover their hips and buttocks, not allowed to take shots for donos anymore, and must refrain from doing sexual jokes or sexual frames if they have a lolly/Shota model. Meanwhile, on Twitch, I'm sorry, but an anime buttock will always be more gracious and dignified than a real one. Now, in terms of this take, one of the things that I would say definitely is, yeah, there is definitely a lot more when you're on Twitch. You do definitely see a lot more flesh tubers baiting their bodies and stuff like that. So it does suck that it's more policed for VTubers, but it's kind of how things have been and kind of how things always are. So it's not necessarily me saying, oh, just accept it. But I will definitely say it's always been like that, and especially with the female streamers. They've always, shown their body and stuff like that, and they don't get, punished for it. So it's not necessarily something that we have to hate on or constantly talk about, because I get the irritation, but at the same time, once again, these flesh tubers, they're gonna do it. They're always gonna do it, and Twitch can't ban them all. VTubers, on the other hand, most likely they can ban them all. So that's probably why they are in fact doing it, because they could just ban all of us and not really care. But the flesh tubers is a little trickier. But now here we have the policy. The attire policy applies to VTubers in the same way it applies to other streamers. Genitalia, buttocks, hips, female presented nipples, and underbust must be covered at all times on general streams. These guidelines apply to VTuber models but not video game characters, including those uploaded into games such as VR chat. Hip coverage is often forgotten in this rule. Please be sure that your VTuber model covers this area. So that's stating make sure you cover your hips. Now, enforcement notes and clarification. Depicting fictional anime characters of a childlike appearance, lolly or shota, with any kind of sexual framing is not allowed. This applies to VTubers and within games where avatars are uploaded, such as VR chat with childlike avatars, even if the broadcaster and operator of the avatar is above the age of 18. So basically just stating don't do, weird things with childlike models, which that's a good rule. That's understandable. That once again was already there, but it was, the wording was changed to make it more, understandable for people. Now, any humor regarding anything sexual in relation to minors will result in immediate action on your account. Another thing that was clarified. Enforcement notes and clarifications. Selling activities which may cause harm for monetary gain, such as subscription, bits, tips, it's not allowed. Now, examples of this would be taking shots of alcohol for subs or doing the cinnamon challenge for a set amount of bits. So these kinds of things are in fact not allowed, which does suck, especially the taking shots one. I do enjoy the fact that I have enjoyed in the past doing a drunk stream. I did it one time. I didn't do it with anybody watching. It was just for fun, but I did really enjoy it. So in terms of drunk streams, they can be really fun. So it does suck that they're being limited. Now, drinking goal streams are allowed provided the drinking that takes place is not excessive and would not reasonably be expected to cause harm. Allowed examples. I will open this bottle of Prosecco at 100 subs, or drinking stream when we hit 50 new subs. So you can still do, once again, drinking streams. Now, the only clarification is doing things which can cause harm for monetary gain. So taking a shot every time someone donates bits and stuff like that, that's definitely not allowed. Just for clarification on that. Prohibited examples: I will down this bottle of vodka at 300 subscribers, or I will take a shot for every 100 bits. So once again, they want to lean away from people doing excessive drinking. So that's why these rules were clarified, is just because you can still drink, but it's the amount that matters very much to Twitch, because it can be seen as self-harm now, I guess, which once again, it does kind of suck because they're monitoring our drinking, and it's like, okay, we're adults here, come on. But understandably so. Now, here we go. Twitch has always required hips to be covered. The wording is now clear. I've been telling VTubers this for over a year. This is why so many of you keep getting banned. This image is 2 years old. Please know the TOS before getting your model made. We don't permit streamers to be fully or partially nude, including exposing genitals or buttocks. We do not permit the visible outline of genitals even when covered. Broadcasting nude or partially nude minors is always prohibited regardless of context. For those who present as women, we ask that you cover your nipples. We do not permit exposed underbust. Cleavage is unrestricted as long as those coverage requirements are met. So as long as you're covering, the nip, you're perfectly fine. You can show cleavage. Just cover up the pepperonis. Basically, they just want you to cover your pepperonis. Be, modest and mindful and demure. Now, for all streamers, you must cover the area extending from your hips to the bottom of your pelvis and buttocks. For those areas of the body whose coverage is required, the coverage must be fully opaque. Sheer or partially see-through clothing does not constitute coverage. So you cannot get away with being like, technically I have clothes if it's see-through. No, that doesn't count. That doesn't count, okay? It's specifically placed in the wording. It has to be fully covered, like an actual piece of clothing, not opaque. Now, augmented reality avatars that translate real-life movements to digital characters are subject to this standard as well. So things like VR chat. So as is cosplay and other costumes. Next post that we do have here is the new enforcement note on self-destructive behavior. Prohibited examples: taking shots of alcohol for subs, or doing the cinnamon challenge for a set amount of bits. So this is that thing we read a few moments ago, the full post. But once again, I just wanted to provide this for more context. I have been seeing it all over, but yeah, these are rules that were already existing on Twitch. It's just there was more clarification added to these so people know what is allowed and what isn't, to help people further in the future to not get banned, because there has been a lot more VTubers getting banned, and I have noticed it a lot, especially unjust and false bans. There's like people getting banned for things that are just out there, where it's like they'll get banned for just having a stream with a specific model, but it's not even like the model breaks any rules whatsoever. So it's literally like a guessing game of like, oh, was it the music, was it this? There was a streamer who even got banned for, I believe, just drinking alcohol on stream because they thought it was self-harm. So it's like there's all these situations of YouTubers getting the short end of the straw. So I do get the sentiment of being upset. I am upset as well whenever any of that happens, but once again, there's only so much we can do, in terms of the rules for flesh tubers versus VTubers. It does suck that there's that double standard, but we gotta live with it, and we gotta do what we gotta do, to make sure we're around. But that's all for today's video. Let me know what you guys thought about these rules, and if you guys knew about these, and if you knew about their existence. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you guys so much. Peace out.